law firms feel stuck, even when they're busy when it comes to a place of managing people. Hi, I'm Molly McGrath, and I'm the founder of Hiring and Empowering Solutions. And for 28 years now, we have staffed, coached, and consulted 9 national legal organizations. We are the creator of the Law Firm Admin Bootcamp, and we've served over 5,000 and counting law firms into creating their legal leaders, their legal admins into what we like to call everyday hero. 3 times Amazon #1 bestseller. And we are our favorite thing to do is we are recognized as our top 10 podcaster. So please subscribe and listen in. So let's talk about the greatest struggle for any law firm owner. Way back when, about 25, 30 years ago, when I was going to legal conference, I would say to law firm owners, tell me a little bit about your practice. Inevitably, I would hear, business would be great, but for the employees. And then I would talk with the team members, support team members, and the employees, and I would hear, my job would be great, but for not the boss, clients. They interrupt me. I can't get my work done. And there was a massive disconnect in regards to really understanding the why of what we're doing and how to get there. And I became incredibly passionate about building that bridge between what I call legal leaders, creating and building legal leaders, your support team members, the people on the front lines, day in and day out, while you, the attorney, the golden goose, the rainmaker, the entrepreneur, are hopefully in a conference room serving clients, closing new clients, or on stages really educating to motivated one to many versus one to one. So today we're really going to talk about this juggling act of when is it time to hire, when to discern if I have rock stars on my team, and when are we at a place of capacity and it's really time for expansion. So it's a two-part series, so join us next week as well. And let me just check in with you all. How many of you feel like you're doing too much yourself? Maybe you're a team member here today. Maybe you are a legal leader in the operations or professional legal administrator role. Maybe you are the attorney, the entrepreneur, and you are feeling like you're paying people and resenting it because you experience delegation up every single day. You feel like you own a job and you never can get the space, grace, and freedom to become a visionary, an entrepreneur that you were promised, if you will, when you hung your own shingle. And how many of you feel burned out or maybe on the brink of burnout? And maybe you are so in the muck of it that you don't even realize it because you're so resilient and it is what it is. It's a statement that we all hear all the time. Well, today I'm going to talk to you about hiring versus expansion and the two different problems and understand. And you may have 2 feet in each. So, hiring, when you know you have a capacity problem, and hopefully you have a pen and paper and you're taking some notes here today. You know you need to hire, you know you need another person. And again, team members, I'm talking to you too. I want you to really come play with me today and go through this exercise. Work volume exceeds bandwidth. I hear from law firm owners all the time that we're potting the brakes on our marketing because we can't take on any more clients because we're backlogged with work. Or we refer out this one service area that is very complementary to our business model, but we just don't have the capacity to handle it. Maybe your experience, and maybe even this morning you've experienced this. Clients are consistently waiting, or clients are coming and checking in with you on just want to update or where are we at with that. Major clues in this is your email, your text messages, and or when your team member is coming to say Mrs. Smith called in today and she wants to know ... We all know that. Maybe revenue is constrained by time. Maybe you're at this place where you're saying, I just can't figure this out. We have work coming in. We don't have any more space in our calendar. I always say, so go the calendar, so go cash flow, especially when you're booking out 2 weeks or more for initial consultations and you have no space on your calendar. Maybe you're the attorney and you're doing $15 to $50 hour work. You're a glorified administrative assistant. You really are printing, scanning, the file management, case management, matter management. You get the drill. Maybe you're the legal leader and you're answering phones. Maybe you're the COO and you're rolling up your sleeves and you're knee deep in the weed every single day and you can't figure out why you can't get the team on this conveyor belt of consistency and persistency. Maybe you're at the place of expansion. And these are two kind of murky areas of really understanding this. You expand roles when the business model is ready to grow. Someone can take on the higher value work and the lower value work. Systems allow for scaling. We are not in this place of consistent tribal knowledge. An example of this that I consistently use is when people hire an intake coordinator or a client service coordinator, or some of my old school law firms still use the terminology receptionist. And maybe you're at that place where you're saying, okay, we're at this place where we're tracking our leads every single day. We're tracking our conversions every single day. And we're at the place right now where we know that 80% of our business come from referrals. Perfect example. I hear this from attorneys all the time. We don't do marketing. Most of our business comes from referrals. I'm like, what percentage from client referrals? What percentage from outside power partners? Give me the breakdown of the power partners. And they can't. They're just in this very comfort zone, comfort trap of referrals. Well, not all referrals are created equal, and we have to look at that. So, you're at a place of expansion when you have the data, you have the analytics, and you know your numbers. And you're seeing that we are consistently getting referrals, or we are not getting any referrals. Nothing's coming from our marketplace, from where we have our firm. We do not dominate this marketplace at all. It's all coming from PPC, LSAs, paid traffic. And so you say, okay, it is time. We're getting the volume, we're getting the leads, the conversions are a little longer, the life cycle leads longer, and we really need to amp up this referral. And so then you make the decision. You have the data, you have the information to install and instill a marketing coordinator, a community outreach coordinator, a boots on the ground coordinator. So you're not living in this place of, you hear the saying all the time, putting all your eggs in one basket. You know when you're at capacity and when it's time to hire, like yesterday, when we have client delays and missed opportunities, when you're waking up with the 2 a.m. sweats and wondering, where are we at with this? Where are we at with this? I'm working with an attorney right now. I'm like, I want your brain drain every single morning. Send me an email of all the things that are swirling around your head in your morning walk, in the shower, when you're taking the kids to school, driving to the courtroom. And it is fascinating to me because it is all about case management. It's not about visionary stuff. How do we add this practice area? How do we open up 4 other offices? It's not about expansion. It is about the current clients that have retained us. And so then it's time to hire. When you keep lists, and this may exercise, my homework for y'all, get a pen and paper, old fashioned, put pen to paper and write down all the things that are waking you up and carry it around like your lifeline or in your smartphone, in your notes tab, and all the things that you're like, wait a minute, where are we at with that? Oh, Mrs. Smith, I haven't seen her. She came in for that consult, but did she hire us? Did. When you feel like you are in constant feedback loops, follow up loops. You know it's time to hire when you are an attorney and you're doing any level of admin work, writing letters, drafting letters instead of reviewing it for legal ease, efficiency, and truality. You're working nights and weekends. You're saving the things to where you owe the file for nights and weekends. You are maybe working on your visionary stuff, the stuff that will 10x the practice on nights and weekends. And it's coming from a place when you're running on fumes. That is your time for rest and rejuvenation. As my coach always says, rest is a revenue generating activity. Maybe you're beginning to resent the practice. The greatest definition I ever heard of resentment was when you are feeling resentment is a beautiful signal to stop for the power of the pause and check in. Resentment is self abandonment, when you're abandoning yourself, when you're paying other people and they're delegating back up to you, when you hung your own shingle and you were promised or you thought you were going to call all the shots, have all the freedom in all capacities, energy, financial, time, money, all of it. And this is not how it's happening. I'm working 60 hours a week, 65 hours a week, whatever it might be. Maybe there's over reliance on one person and there's a single point failure of entry. These are not horror stories. These are signals. They're not problems. They indicate a capacity decision must be made. You are in the business of making decisions. And on the recruitment side of our business, we talk to people every single day. And I will give you a hot tip right now. When we hear from people, why are you talking to a recruiter today? Give me the truth. Why are you looking for a new opportunity? We will hear over and over again. When we peel away the layers of the onion, not more money, not raises, not reviews, it's that the business owner, that the leaders defer and deflect and don't make decisions fast enough. So you might have someone sitting in your office today that is a rock star and suffering in silence. And this is a gift for me to you to go and check in with your people today and see, take their temperature and see where they're at. And you're like, dang it, we were working on hiring someone. We were working on getting that capacity log unjammed and what have you. And they walk in and give their notice today. And you're like, wait, help's on the way. It's too late. So if you're feeling this, it's a gift. It's a signal. It's not a problem. It indicates that we're at capacity and we have time kills all deals. We have to make decisions faster. Opportunity, when to expand your team. Number one, when systems are stable. SOPs, this is not the buzzword in the legal space anymore. SOPs exist. I don't mean that they're written and they're in a Word document or in a crotchety old crunchy binder somewhere in a closet or on a shelf. I mean, they are in motion in your CRM, in workflows. They don't have to be perfect. SOPs are never perfect. In fact, I even think SOPs is sort of an outdated terminology. It's workflows, it's automations, it's stages, it's funnels that are in motion and working. So we can absolutely click a button and open up and see the state of the union of the business in regards to pre engagement, leads, marketing, and post engagement, what's happening once we get hired with the matter. Our team runs pretty well without constant supervision. If there's a weekly meeting that's occurring or a case management meeting, and for some reason you can't go because you get hopefully a wonderful speaking opportunity or a high net worth client that wants to meet with you, you're like, they're okay. They don't need me. I don't have to be there. I get to be there. And I like to be there to connect with my employees, with my team, and really hear their wins for the week and things of that nature. But I don't have to be there. And your KPIs are predictable. Your key performance indicators are clear, concise, well communicated, trackable, and measurable. Number two is that profit margins are healthy. So I get this question all the time. Well, what should the profit margin be, Molly, or what have you? I'm not getting in the weeds of that today. That is, we all know how people run their books differently, what have you, running certain personal expenses through books or whatever it might be. But when your profit margins are healthy, they're clipping at about 50%, give or take, depending on if you have a brick and mortar business or what have you. But they're healthy when you're getting paid as a golden goose. You're not getting paid last, you're getting paid first. You're getting paid predictably, consistently, every single month, quarter, and annually. You can plan your cash flow. Expansion requires cash, and we can do that. So we're at a point where we have a slush fund, if you will, where we already know that we are being our own bank and we could use that money. We want to hire that community outreach coordinator or that B2B business development person. We have the money to be able to put them on payroll without even thinking of it. You have thin margins make expansion really, really risky. And I see this every day where attorneys panic. They're like, we need revenue. Cash is tight. We need more business. We need more hires. What's a knee-jerk reaction? Marketing. Let's go hire more leads. And we talk to all these marketing companies that they're like, wow, this is great. And that's our knee-jerk reaction is we think we need more client leads and we need more clients. But it's risky when you do that, when things are not trackable and measurable. So when we do that, we're blowing up our team with crappy leads, unqualified leads that are drowning them, and you're scratching your head. You're like, there's no more booked consults on the calendar, and I don't have more cash flow in the bank, and I'm still feeling that biweekly niggle when running payroll. And so if the machine runs smoothly and there's more opportunity, you expand. You don't make knee-jerk reactions. And they definitely don't come from a place of marketing. That's a place that people hide out. A lot of times you're like, I'm so busy. I'm so stressed. I'm so taxed. My nervous system is so dysregulated. Let me just go and hire a marketing person because it's their problem now. All I have to do is swipe the American Express and they can take care of it. And they're going to be in the back with their idea fairies and creating magic. No, you want to make certain that you are really looking at your KPIs. You're looking at every single lead. Because in my experience, it's very rarely a marketing problem. It is an intake problem. It is a front of the house problem, and it's a closing problem in the conference room. And attorneys, you don't like hearing that if you're still in the conference room and the salesperson. You're like, I feel so exposed. And yes, but again, these are signals for opportunities for 2 millimeter shift. Demand exceeds current market reach. We have new geographies. We have new service lines. We have new audiences. We have additional offices. I talk to attorneys every single day and I'm like, tell me what your ultimate vision is. I really, truly would love to own the state of, I'm in Colorado. I would love to have offices up and down I-25. I'd like to have satellite offices or what have you, so we can really expand in that regard. You can do that strategically, methodically, controlled growth. And you're like, we could do that and we won't break the bank and we won't break the people and we won't break the process. So how do we slow roll this thing? Number 4 is leadership bandwidth exists. Expansion requires leadership energy. So often I will see people expand into satellite offices, open offices in different states, or they might be making decisions of joining something like EOS or making some really big strategic moves, which I am in full favor of, but they don't have the leadership team to lead that because that requires time and energy. And I think that's one resource that attorneys, that entrepreneurs, myself included, that we don't measure. The measuring stick is always time and money. Sadly, it's usually money than time, but energy is not a resource, which I think is the most important resource. As my coach always says, money is energy, and you're responsible for the energy you bring into the room and that you leave in the room. And so, energy is a real resource. If you're trying to expand and you don't have the capacity to meet with the planners, if you're going to buy a building, if you're going to move into a new space that has an extraordinary workshop room to really 10x the client experience or whatever it might be, it's not things we do on a Saturday, on the nights and the weekends when guess what? The other players are not working. Oh, the banks aren't working, the contractors aren't working, and things of that nature. So if leadership is already overwhelmed, expansion will break the company. Expansion will break the firm. And I see this all too often. There isn't controlled growth. And typically it starts, and you all know you are on social media, your inbox, your DMs, you're just getting hammered all day long with different people. Do you want 10x your revenue? Are you serious about growth? Are you treating this law firm like a hobby because you're not spending $25,000 a month in Google AdWords or whatever it might be? You can't handle that if you do not have your system stable, your people stable, your processes stable. I didn't say perfect, gang. I said stable. By and large, they're rock and rolling. We're not changing them every day. We're not trying to implement what our buddy, that at a conference told us that they were doing or what have you. And that we really have the capacity. We have the data, we have the information about market reach, and we really truly can dominate this. We are losing opportunities. We're getting calls from 2.5 hours away or what have you, but nobody wants to travel here. We're doing the research. There's no attorney in, Cowtown, Parker, where I live in Colorado. Anyone want to come here and hang a shingle? Highly recommend it. And so we have the data and the information, and our leadership is involved in these decisions at the groundswell. So when you all have these visions of growth, which you should, control growth, or maybe not controlled growth, maybe it's fun growth because we have healthy profit margins and we have a rock star leadership team that's like, bring it on, let's do this. Where are you sitting right now? Are you sitting in dread? And it's time for you to hire, but you're playing this chicken and egg game like, well, what comes first? The money? I don't have the money to hire. But you're never going to have the money to hire, because if I were to come into your office and look in your database or your CRM, I bet my bottom dollar you have at least $500,000 of leads sitting there that aren't touched. $500,000 of past clients that haven't heard from you. And when you really hire a client success coordinator, someone who understands how to do back from the dead campaigns, somebody who understands how to do client care calls, if you're not doing that first, stop spending money on marketing, which should make you excited, because you get to keep your credit card in your pocket. That is not the answer. That is a knee-jerk reaction until you have all the data. And if you do not have all the KPIs that are predictable, if you are still the attorney wearing multiple hats, and when you break down your hourly rate, it makes you either cry or excited that you're in the business of making decisions and you say, it's go time. I'm ready to hire. I'm ready to do this. So, next week is part 2 of our LinkedIn Live series, and you want to come. I'm going to give you a tool that I believe I've been using it for 28 years myself that will really help you with this hiring and expansion decision framework. So, we're going to go over the framework. I'll see you next Thursday, April 30th, 12 p.m. Eastern, live right here.